Happy to be with you here on a Tuesday morning. I'm Jeff Parles in for Gil Alexander on a numbers game. Kelley Bydlon is here with us as well. And now joining the program, a man who has changed the meaning of the word wedgie from a punishment in the park to America's favorite basketball term. He calls games for CBS, Turner Sports. Yes, now work for the Brooklyn Nets. It's Ian Eagle. Ian, pleasure to have you on today.
Yeah, put it on the tombstone, Jeff. Creator of wedgie for basketball use only. Thank you so much. Jeff, let me just say this before we get started. I don't know if people can even visualize you as a teenager, but I knew you as a teenager. I don't know if people are aware of this, but you had a dream to be a sportscaster one day, to do this for a living, and I don't know, you must have been 16, 17 years old. You show up at a sportscaster camp full of vigor and energy and passion and opinions, and somehow our paths cross, and I feel like I helped molded you into the person you are today. So that's my fault.
Well, you're not the only one who says it's your fault, Ian, but I appreciate it. And Ian, I said this to to Kelley, our producer here for the show. That week that I spent at Montclair State University with you and Bruce Beck, that was the week I realized, you know what, you can do this. You can do this. And then now here I am. Now here I am actually putting full sentences together for everybody to listen. So
you listen to me and Bruce for a week. You're like, if these two bozos can make a living at this, I've got a shot.
Hey, look, I'm just happy to be here. I'm here, so I won't be fine. So, good shape. It's great to have you on, Ian. I just want to start with the Nets. By the way, this morning, Kelley putting this in our notes. Jacque Vaughn got extended earlier this morning, so good on Jacque, who's really just navigated what has been a season that I don't think anyone could have envisioned with what has happened with the Nets. Obviously, trading Kyrie, trading KD. You're there calling their games. Just what is the sense of what that team is now post KD and Kyrie?
Well, first of all, good for Kelley for staying on top of the news. This was early morning breaking news in the NBA that Jacque Vaughn has been extended beyond the 23-24 season. No specific details about the deal, but just a multi-year deal to remain the head coach. He already had the interim term lifted earlier this season when he took over for Steve Nash. He's done fantastic work. He stabilized the team when they needed it. Even with the big-name stars, KD, Kyrie, he got them both to buy in. The team went 18-2 over a 20-game stretch. You have to remind yourself, that happened this season. This team, at least at that point, felt like a legitimate NBA championship contender. Where did it all go wrong? Well, no extension for Kyrie, and ultimately that's what led to where we are today. He wanted 4 years, $198 million, and the Nets were not going to pay that. I think they were willing to pay guaranteed money 2 years, maybe even a third year. Fourth year, they wanted some incentives in there to keep him motivated and keep him on board. And Kyrie and his camp didn't like it and demanded a trade. The Nets realized that they were at a complete impasse. There was a point of no return. They deal him to Dallas. And then, obviously, the dominoes fell with Kevin Durant wanting out. And the Nets decided to take the plunge and redo this roster. You asked me the question, what are they? They're fun. It's a fun team. Is it a championship squad? It's not. Will it be competitive? Will it be entertaining? Will they fight and battle? I think they will. And I think with Jacque Vaughn as their head coach, there is already a sense of chemistry and cohesion developing that he is trying to figure out how to best use these guys, how to create a rotation that works, that can lead this team into the postseason and maybe even surprise some people along the way.
And along those lines, just looking at the Eastern Conference as we're in the All-Star break, Boston with a half-game lead over Milwaukee. We may not see Giannis for a little bit with the sprained ligaments in his wrist. Sixers 3 games behind Boston and Cleveland in that 4 spot. Just looking at that Eastern Conference, who do you think could be the dark horse that could maybe even upset a Boston in a round 2? It has to be Cleveland, right?
I think it is Cleveland. Obviously, we didn't like the way that they ended the unofficial first half of the season, getting just pummeled the way that they did prior to the All-Star break. But I think they've got the makings of something with the young talent and the mix that they put together. And they're going to be the model that teams follow in how to do this, how to rebuild it, and how to do it the right way, drafting smart, key free agent signings, and then the big trade when it's available, and willing to take a chance and a risk to go for it. And that's what the Cavaliers have done. I respect how they've decided to redo their roster and change the culture within that organization, and they've done it. Are they ready to take that next step? I mean, it's a big jump in the NBA from being in the play-in to being a conference finalist or an NBA finalist. So there are a couple of steps in there that normally you have to go through as a team, and the question is whether or not they can really battle with the heavyweights, Boston and Milwaukee. Philadelphia, I think most people are just curious how it's all going to play out come playoff time. If they face adversity, can Embiid and Harden and Doc Rivers keep that group together and fight through it and find a way to be the last team standing? The general sense is they can't, that there's just a little too much mystery there. Harden's contract for next year. Is he going elsewhere? Rumors about Houston, that he wants to get back there and be a part of the rebuild and try to bring that back to life. Obviously, his main goal, win a championship, complete his resume, and cement his legacy. But it's easier said than done, and with James, you're just never quite sure. Obviously, the Nets experienced that firsthand last year where he just checked out. He completely checked out. He wanted no part of the team. He was unhappy with the direction, certainly did everything in his power to get traded, and the Nets eventually decided that it was a completely untenable situation. So just going back to the Nets, they already went through this with one star, and then they went through it again with two stars.
Ian Eagle with us right now here on A Numbers Game. Of course, you hear Ian on College Hoops on CBS, the NBA on TNT, Yes Network for the Nets, and, of course, the NFL season on CBS and Westwood One on the radio. Ian, we have about 2 minutes left here, and I just want to look at the Western Conference now with, obviously, Durant moving over. The Nuggets have been, to me, the best team in the NBA so far this year. For looking at it from Denver's perspective real quick, you finally have this breakthrough team. Jokic is on his way to win his third MVP, and then all of a sudden, the one team that, with getting Durant in Phoenix, they turn into the biggest threat here. They're the betting favorites now, Phoenix. If you're Denver, you want to see them as early as possible in the postseason, correct?
I don't know with Denver. I just think they are who they are, and they can't get caught up in what Phoenix has done here. You have to believe in the group that you have. Of course, the Suns now have a lot of the glitz and glamour that you look for, and the question is whether or not it can all work together and that KD can stay healthy and the Suns have the right mix. It's been a strange season, really strange season in Phoenix. But I got to tell you, I've had them a few times this year on TNT, meeting with Monty Williams. He is a serious guy who can absolutely tell you what he believes and why he believes it. And I can see how he can get a team to believe in what he believes. So now it's a matter of putting all the pieces together. If you're Denver, you didn't do anything big at the trade deadline because you didn't have to. You believe in your squad, and that's the way they should approach this. I think they're the best team in the NBA. I'm with you. They've played the best in the NBA, and with that comes an X on your back where you have to take on all comers.
All right, Ian, one-word answer here. The best team in college basketball at the moment is?
Woo! I think Purdue has a chance to be the best because I love their chemistry. I've seen Houston in person. I think they're really good. I think Alabama is excellent. I think Kansas is excellent. And I think the answer to your question is anybody's guess, Jeff, because no one is at that elite level this year in college basketball.
He's Iron Eagle, the best in the business. You hear him on CBS, TNT, Yes Network, NBA, and the NFL. Ian, pleasure as always. And once again, as always, thank you for helping in creating my career here.
I knew you when, Jeff. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.